Officer, what's your name and badge number, please? Officer, what's your name and badge number, please?
The natural and probable consequences of being a First Amendment auditor, an investigative reporter, and a Los Gatos-based publisher means that when you're on your way home from work after a long day of reviewing Los Gatos Police Department records related to domestic violence cases in the Los Gatos community, you're probably going to stop when you see 5 police cars pulled into the local Chevron station at the corner of Los Gatos Boulevard and Blossom Hill Road.
Busy? Then you're coming in by gas. Can you not do that, please?
I'm actually a reporter.
I don't care. Can you just get that out of my face? I can make sure the gentleman doesn't need to do.
I'd like your name and badge number.
Ma'am, I'm not going to talk to you. Let me just get some of this done.
You could talk to him, but you couldn't talk to me. I just want to be clear, and I'm asking for your name and badge number so I can do a call for service and look on the press release and find out what you guys are going to say about this. What I do for a living, sir.
Now, of course, I was curious what expertise and training there was in watching a vehicle be loaded onto the tow truck. Was it that this police officer was concerned about the jurisdiction of this vehicle? But more shocking was the fact that this police officer, despite all the controversy over the Los Gatos Police Department in recent months, simply refused to give me his name and badge number.
Give me your name and badge number, please. Sir, could you please give me your name and badge number?
Buddy, have a good night.
So I can do my reporting for this? May I speak with whoever your supervisor is?
Good. Hi, bud.
Can I have your name and badge number, please? Officer, can I have your name and badge number, please? I need to be able to look up the incident. He won't give me the name and badge number.
My name is Perez, badge number S as in Sam, 061.
Thank you, and can you tell me his, please?
Officer Carrizosa, badge number S as in Sam, 042.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
The natural and probable consequence of sending 5 police officers to an incident that clearly did not involve immediate public harm and where no arrests were made meant that the business owner of this gas station lost substantial business, as the police officers blocked one side of the entrance to the service station, and their presence was clearly intimidating for a number of customers. We, of course, are going to do records requests. We'll request the calls for service, we'll look for the arrests, and we'll find out what incident took this many police officers to respond, and why one police officer would refuse to give his name and badge number.
Stand up. Stand up.
Okay, it's
Stand up.
stand up. Yes, sir. 136, 234. Roll over your stomach. Roll over your stomach. You're gonna get tased.
The natural and probable consequence of allowing police officers to get away with behavior such as this has several effects on our community. Officer Jonathan Silva was charged with the improper use of excessive force on this man, Philip Chong, who was using the San Jose State Library when this incident broke out. Not one police officer filming the incident or coming in as it occurred de-escalated the situation or spoke up about Officer Silva's conduct. And as a result, the natural and probable consequence was that Philip Chong suffered a broken eye socket, several broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and he spent 10 days in the hospital. And taxpayers paid a $950,000 settlement. But because Officer Silva was afforded an appellate attorney, he overturned his firing for the use of excessive force, and he then went to work for the Los Gatos Police Department.
I figured.
I'll go back there.
He's not helping.
Well, can we pull him a little bit?
Is a nutcase?
You're a nutcase.
I'm a nutcase. Mr. Dailey, none of your private judge cases are listed anywhere in any county in 27 counties in California. 27. Are you obstructing my right to pass, Mr. Dailey? You are a licensed attorney.
Would you?
Yeah.
Some people come in and protect me from this nutcase.
Okay. Don't do that. That's not nice.
I'm sorry, we're in public, ma'am. This man is a highly controversial attorney.
Good call.
Okay, good call.
Mr. Garrett Dailey teaches attorneys how to do private judging, and then he makes a lot of money on it. He just called me a nutcase because I'm investigating his cases. It's probably very uncomfortable for him.
Really, all of us, in fact.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable all around.
By the way, she's one of a group that does this.
Oh.
So she's not alone. She's part of a group that does this.
I'm part of the group. You'll be on YouTube. Susan Bassey is my channel. What group would that be, Mr. Dailey?
As an investigative reporter, I wasn't sure if Garrett Dailey was aware of my work on YouTube holding police officers accountable and providing transparency in our local communities, or if he was referring to the fact that our investigative team had been looking into his cases since 2016, where we had done media requests, evaluated his work in the Elkins case, and looked at his cases involving private judging, domestic violence, and vexatious litigants. The bulk of our investigative work has focused on private judge cases. These are cases where attorneys act as judges, despite not having the expertise or qualifications to do so. These attorneys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in divorce cases, and this is essentially becoming the privatization of our courts, where fewer than 90% of the people in those cases can afford an attorney, much less a private judge. And it appears that it is these cases that have become the focal point of a criminal enterprise, acting to take money, home equity, and custody of children as a financial incentive for lawyers to make more money and refer their buddies as private judges.
Hi.
Virginia.
Hi, Virginia. My name's Susan. My attorney, Hoover Kerpolka, was recommending that maybe I want to look at private judging.
Okay.
And he recommended Mr. Smith and Mr. Ed Barra. And I don't know anything about private judging and how it works. And I don't know, are there other cases that he's heard that I could talk to the people about how it went, or?
Okay, Mr. Smith is on a telephone conference right now. Both parties have to be present to speak with him.
I don't need to speak with them. I just need to know how it works. And I'm trying to decide which private judge I would want to use if I want to use one. Is it private? Like, I was told that it would be confidential, and then
It is very confidential. All cases are confidential.
So, and then does a judge appoint him so that we move out of the public courthouse?
He has a form that he needs to complete, and you all need to agree with him being the judge and sign it. But before that, Mr. Smith needs to agree to be.
So is it like arbitration?
No, it's more of a private, it's not an arbitration. He basically does the orders instead of going.
So is it the same as public court and he does the orders?
No.
So what's the difference?
The difference in public court is that you really don't know who you're going to get. Mr. Smith is your private judge. He listens to both parties. If you have an attorney, do you have an attorney?
Yes.
Okay, maybe your attorney can call Michael.
Well, my attorney recommended Michael Smith. He gave me two choices that he was recommending for a private judge, and Michael Smith was one of them. And he didn't explain to me
private judging, they kind of tell me that it's private and that, so nobody can see what's going on in the proceedings, or how does that work?
It's just you and your significant other.
They're not my significant other anymore.
Okay. Is it more than one?
Oh, it's a divorce.
Okay. Has it been completed?
Nope.
No? Okay. Let me, I don't know.
So do you have a list of people that you do private judging for, or attorneys that you have regular business with that you do this with, or how does that work?
Mr. Hoover would have been able to tell you that.
He didn't tell me. He just said, I'm recommending we use one of these private judges.
Why don't you call him and ask him?
Well,
you know,
I mean, if this is like supposed to be like a court and he's like a judge,
Yes.
I should be able to know what it looks like before I agree to do it. That's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out how many other cases has he done, and
that's all he does is mediation and private judging.
okay. And then what, he files orders in the courthouse?
He files orders in the court, but we do that all electronically.
And how does he get his business then? My lawyer recommending him?
Right, referrals.
So he only gets his business from referrals. The court doesn't appoint him ever?
Only when he sends in his notice that he will be temporary judge.
So you have to get parties to agree, and then they appoint him?
And you guys sign the agreement, and then we forward it to court, then the actual court judge signs it, returns it to us, then we proceed.
Then how does it get done through the court? How do I get divorced?
The orders that we have, you don't have a judgment package? You haven't submitted a judgment?
So Mr. Kerpolka recommended Mr. Smith pretty early in the proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know anything about what a divorce looks like, how much it's going to cost, where these, how private judging works.
Okay, so you haven't started anything?
It's new. I'd been in mediation for a year.
Okay.
And after I was in mediation for a year, my husband got an attorney who was Rich Roja, who was a little bit of a problem, and said that he was going to bankrupt our businesses and not pay me support. And so now I guess we're going to court. And my attorney recommended private judging, and I didn't know how that works.
Okay.
I mean, it says to me, when you say private judging, it sounds private. So what does that mean? Because I did have a mediator.
Everything takes place here in our office.
So when I went to my mediator with my husband for a year, the two of us met with just the mediator, no lawyers. And now it sounds like there's lawyers and another lawyer who's acting as a private judge. And I don't understand, are these not open proceedings that anybody can see? How does this work?
No. Well, every case is different. Okay. So what I suggest is.
But aren't all divorces really the same? It's just get us divorced, and
No.
Why not?
Because there's a process. We don't know what's behind.
So how long does private judging take? Is it faster?
Depends on if you guys agree on splitting everything and agreeing on all the.
Well, if we had agreed, we probably wouldn't be in court in the first place. So
Right.
now we're in court because we don't agree.
Okay.
So how is
So
private
then
judging
Mr. Smith
faster
takes
than
a
regular
look.
court?
Not necessarily.
He doesn't take a look until he's appointed.
Right.
So how will he know how long it's going to take?
Whatever time it takes you guys to agree on him.
So the lawyers tell us it's faster and cheaper to use a private judge. What are they basing that on?
Are you going to maintain your lawyer? Are you going to keep him to represent you?
What if I don't?
Then you would be representing yourself.
And can I do that in front of a private judge?
Yeah, of course you can.
Is that a desired outcome if the other person has an attorney?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Do you know about Rule of Court 2.81?
So how is your retirement from litigation going?
I love it. I get to deal with people like you guys.
That is not a benefit.
In this capacity, no. I mean, I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I find it to be very gratifying because most of the cases, unlike Garcia Lopez, get settled and stay settled, and everybody is happy with what occurred. And I don't think I've worked with Bob Michelle as a temporary judge other than in this matter, but I have worked with David's office, and I think that's, generally what happens. Most of these cases get resolved.
Nate?
No, I do not.
Do you know about Rule of Court 2.834?
No, you're asking me the wrong questions. Those are questions for your attorney and.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I'm an investigative reporter too.
Okay.
And so I'm going to investigate this.
Okay.
And Mr. Smith is part of a private judging group.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed a list in the courthouse where he has several cases,
Of course.
but that wasn't posted before. So I'm wondering why all of a sudden it just came up when I started asking about it. And
I don't know about how the court runs. I mean, I don't know what their process
well, he did a
is. I know
divorce
that-
case for Tanya McCash, and she ended up losing everything, her kids and custody of her kids, and losing her house. So, you know, I'm obviously concerned about if that was Mr. Smith's problem or
So
the
what are you here for? Are you
I'm here to find out about private judging, and he's a private judge.
Okay, so then you need to go back to your lawyer and.
So what if I'm self-represented? Can I
Are
use a private
you-
judge?
Are you self-represented?
Right now I am.
Okay, so then I need to talk to him. I need to talk to Michael right now.
Okay.
And I know that he probably won't be able to talk to you because the other party is not present.
Okay, well, I have his email,
Okay, you can,
and if I don't use him as a private judge, he can talk to me. So I'll make a decision right now not to use him as a private judge, and I'll email him my questions. How's that?
okay,
Thank you.
send him your email.
I will. Thank
Okay?
you.
Have a good day.
When good lawyers and investigative reporters are investigating our law enforcement agencies or our criminal and civil courts, they will often go to the jury instructions. And there they will find a natural and probable consequences doctrine, which says that a judge must instruct a jury that a natural and probable consequence is one that a reasonable person would know is likely to happen if nothing unusual intervenes. And because sadly it is becoming unusual for good police officers to speak up against bad ones, and good lawyers to speak up against attorneys engaged in misconduct, and for judges to do their job disciplining and controlling attorneys who appear in their courtroom, the public is not protected, and as a result, there are going to be consequences.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Mr. Cox, my name is Susan Bassey. I'm an investigative reporter and I'm looking into private judge cases in Santa Clara County. Your email address and I have contacted you in the past. I tried to come to your office, but I found that your office is a post office box. I'd appreciate if you could call me back at 831-320-6421. Thank you. Hi there.
Hi.
I'm looking for James Cox.
Hey, is anyone who's in the kitchen? You know, I need to go to my other job. Sorry, I have to run like right now.
Hi, I'm looking for James Cox.
Okay, and you are?
My name is Susan Bassey.
Okay, are you with business?
It's related to private judging.
Oh, okay. Come on in.
That's okay. I'll wait out here if
Okay.
he would just like to come speak with me.
Hey, Jen? What's your name again?
My name is Susan Bassey.
Susan Bassey is here to see you? Okay.
He doesn't have time right now? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Because I really would like to talk to you about private judging. Mr. Dailey, you make a lot of money. Oh, excuse me, that's assault? You don't have any right to do that, Mr. Dailey.
We have up here, we have this crazy.
I'm sorry, did you just call me crazy? Mr. Dailey, you just physically assaulted my iPad where I was filming you.
Anyway,
Mr. Dailey,
nice-
you are one
nice
of the
to see
most
you.
corrupt,
Nice talking to you guys.
allegedly,
Nice to-
attorneys
Take care.
in private
Good job.
judging. And you are continuing to make money. And Mr. Dailey, you started your career in the Elkins case, representing pro-PERS. And now you are involved in sanctioning people. You are involved in going after vexatious litigants like you did Diana Dong for Brad Baugh. Mr. Dailey, are you aware of that? We can go all day long and I'll report you to the police for touching my camera. That was very unappellate attorney-like conduct. Mr. Dailey, you do not have a right to touch a photographer's video. You will be on YouTube by tomorrow. And I'm happy, oh, good, you're going to the same level I am with my car. We can chat about this in the elevator. Mr. Dailey, you just physically accosted me in my
Hi, I have a question. I need to file a police report about somebody who just attacked.
Are you filming our parking lot?
I am filming it. I'm going into the police department to file a police report.
Okay. Why are you filming our lot? Because there's several personal vehicles here as well.
I just filmed the official vehicles. This is a public space. Google's filming this all the time. I was just attacked. I'm a journalist. I was attacked by a lawyer at the courthouse, and I have it on video, and I need to know if this is the right jurisdiction for filing a police report.
You can use any San Francisco police station. This is going to be through the double doors right here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.